card, I wanted to use this absolutely adorable banana themed paper. Look how cute this paper is. Ah, so much fun. So what you're going to see in your kit here is you're going to see the card base, which has a scoring in 2 different areas because it's going to be a fun fold card like this. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then these are going to be the layering pieces that are going to go on top of that. So we're going to set those and this aside. Now, if you're looking at your die cut, you probably saw how there's these little pieces inside. Don't pop those out quite yet because we're going to be using one of those little inside pieces for the dot for the eye on the word wishes. So don't poke those out because I don't want you to lose those bits and pieces, okay? So we're going to set all of these things to the side for just a second. On the front of the card, we're going to be doing kind of a little bit of a collage. And so you'll see here that there's 2 pieces that are banana. On the back side of those are the gingham. And then there's this paper that looks like kind of like a little bit of a crochet. I thought it'd be so cute as like a little cozy blanket. Like, like the colors match absolutely perfectly. This would actually make a really, really, really cute baby card. So just kind of keep that in mind in case you have like a little one on the way or something in your life. This would be a really cute card. So before we get started with this part, we are going to be doing just a little bit of cutting and trimming. So first thing we need to do is you have this little piece of narrow white. This is actually going to go on the front of the card a little bit. But before we do that, we are going to be putting a little bit of double-sided tape on the back side of this. I'm going to put double-sided tape actually on all 4 sides right now. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our mesh gray ribbon, we're going to stick it so it's just barely on one side, we're going to wrap it around, and then it's going to be sticking to the other side, okay? Now we need to trim 2 little pieces of this gray ribbon off of here. So in order to do this, I've wrapped it around, I'm pulling it tight, and I'm going to stick that to this little bit of double-sided tape at the bottom there. I'm going to grab my scissors here, and I'm going to trim this off, trim off the excess here so there's just enough, just so it just barely wraps around to the other side. Okay, so this is what we have on the front. So I know this is sticky right now, I'm gonna just leave it as is, sticky side up, over here for just a moment while we work on the rest of our card. All right, this little piece of mesh ribbon that's left, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut that in half. The idea here is that I'm looking for like 2 little square type pieces that are roughly the same size as our other little squares here because we're gonna be doing a little collage, okay? All right, so we have those 2 yellow, and then 2 banana and a little crochet. I would decide which banana one you like the best, or if you like them both, you can use them both, but I decided to just keep 1 banana showing, so I'm going to put this to the other side so we have the gingham, because I like the large pattern, the small pattern, and then the solid pieces to kind of break it up. So those are going to be our collage pieces. We're going to bring those to the side. I have not forgotten about the best wishes. We're going to come back to that. Okay, so now we're going to come back to this piece with the mesh on it. I'm going to put double-sided tape on the pieces where on the area where the mesh is, and that way the mesh parts are now sticky again. I'm going to grab my yellow ribbon. Again, I'm going to stick it just to one side, and this piece again just to the other side, so that it barely stays on. This gives us quite a bit of ribbon to work with to make our bow. So I like to lock in these little pieces of ribbon here. So I'm going to put double-sided tape over the ribbon piece only. All right, so now there should be sticky double-sided tape on all 4 sides. The back side of these always looks really gunky because it's all these bits and pieces kind of coming together, but trust me, it's gonna be okay when we're all done. All right, so now I'm gonna come over here. I have my 2 folded pieces. The larger panel is on the left and the smaller panel is on the right. The smaller panel is what we're going to be sticking this onto. So I'm gonna take this piece, I'm gonna lay it on the panel. On the panel, you're gonna see there's gonna be about, I would say probably about 1/8 of an inch border. And we're going to do an 1/8 of an inch border on the top, right, and on the bottom. So you're going to end up with a larger piece on the left that's kind of that gray color. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to trim my ribbon here. I'm going to take my ribbon, I'm going to cut it in half. That way, this should give me plenty to make my little bow. So I'm just going to tie that like this and tie my cute little bow. Whoops. There we are. And I like to kind of pull that a little bit, so then that way it's nice. People always ask me how I make my bows look good, and I just kind of mess around with them until they look like what I'm after. But I generally kind of pull up on these 2 and I kind of pull the 2 little tails down, and that kind of allows me to kind of get that shape. Something else I'll do, I don't know if you guys can even see this, but I'll hold my middle finger up against the edge of my thumb like this, and I'll hold the ribbon there, and I do the same thing on the other side. And then I'll grab these two pieces and then I'll pull the bow. So then that way the bow is being tied tight, but the little tails are hanging down. Okay, and then I'd like to trim my little ribbon ends so that they're nice and sharp and they look good. There we are. All right, so we have our cute little yellow bow on the side there. Okay. All right, so now it's this panel. That's what this piece is. We're going to be doing our layering piece here. So since I'm not going to glue this on here quite yet, but I am going to think about my layout here. So there's lots of different things you can do. I kind of like to, when I'm laying this out, I like to kind of do opposites, and you'll see what I mean here in just a minute. So I have my two gray mesh pieces are going to be opposite from each other. I have my two solid yellow pieces. Those are going to be opposite from each other. So you see I'm keeping it on my little white rectangle piece here, but they're not going, like I don't have my pieces matching it perfectly. They're kind of offset a little bit. So it's going to be kind of an asymmetrical kind of a look. Then I have my pattern piece. I'm going to put this guy over here. I have my other pattern piece. I'm going to put that down here so I can still see all of these fun things. And then I have my banana piece, and I'm going to put this right here in the middle. I think that's going to be really cute. I'm just going to adjust these just slightly. There we go. Adorable. Now that you have those in, I recommend using those as kind of leaving them there as you kind of lift and stick. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, I'm kind of pressing down and kind of lifting. I'm going to put just a tiny little dot of glue, and then that way I can just, and I'm just barely putting any adhesive down, but I'm kind of lifting and sticking my pieces together. Do the same thing down here. Obviously with the mesh ribbon, you're going to need to use double-sided tape to stick that down, but if you get all of your other little paper pieces down first, that way it'll be much easier to stick on your mesh in just a moment, okay? So those are at least stuck at least somewhat in place for the moment. Now I'm going to lift up above. I'm going to lift the mesh up and put a little piece of double-sided tape, kind of like a little secret, because we don't want to see the double-sided tape through our mesh, but we do want that to be down enough to hold the mesh in place. I'm going to turn this around so I can do the other one in the same way. Again, lift, put down double-sided tape, and then lay it back down and stick it. All right, once you have those pieces at least in place, whoops, then you'll have a little bit more of an opportunity to go in and do some fine detail work of gluing everything else down, okay? All right. We'll stick all of those in place. Put a little bit more double-sided tape underneath here, and put some here. All right, there we are. If you happen to have a black pen, this would be a great opportunity to go in and add some tiny little dot groupings. I really like dot groupings. I tend to do them a lot. Dot groupings are just fun, and they just add an element of something else kind of going on. I also like that it kind of replicates the little dots on the banana, and I think that's kind of cute. Okay, so in case you need a reminder, a dot grouping is a big dot and two little dots. You can also do just a single dot kind of here and there, and that will kind of allow it to kind of tie everything together and make it not look so stark for a background. You know what I mean? All right, so once you have your little collage piece done, we're going to put double-sided tape on the back side of this piece. And we're going to stick that on right here on the left panel. There's going to be about an even 1/8 of an inch border on the left, right, top, and bottom. So then when you close your card, it's just really, really cute. Isn't that so fun? All right, so now for the inside. The inside, I have this extra little rectangular piece, and it's gonna fit perfectly on the inside right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put some double-sided tape on. On the back side on all four sides, this is gonna match it perfectly. You're gonna see about an 1/8 of an inch border on the top and on the bottom. Then I told you we have our best wishes. Now you can poke out all those little inside pieces. I'm just gonna use the tip of my scissors to do this, but you're gonna end up with two dots that are kind of more rounded, and you're gonna end up with one dot, I guess, that's the inside of the E that's a little bit more slanty. You can really do which one you'd like for the little dot of the eye. I'm not gonna move these off my paper quite yet because I wanna lay down my best wishes, and then I wanna choose the best dot for the top of my eye. I'm gonna use my fine line glue to just put a little bit of glue down on my sentiment. I'm going to kind of line this up so that it goes where I want it to be. push those little dots right off the edge. All right, not a problem. I'm going to put a tiny, tiny, tiny little dot for the eye, and I'm going to grab one of these larger dots of all of the 3 dot pieces I have here, and I'm going to use this one for the dot of my eye. All right, those other 2 we can just toss. All right, and there we have the 3rd and final card. Isn't that so much fun? Oh my gosh, I just love all of these cards. They're all fruit themed. They're just so stinking cute. I hope you guys had lots of fun. Hope you learned something new, and hope you enjoyed all my little fruity cards. They're a good time. All right, friends, hope you guys have a great rest of your month, and we will see you for next month's card making kit. We're going to be doing kits every month through the summertime, so if you need a card making kit, you can sign up on our website for the next class, which will be posted here shortly for August. Woohoo! All right, friends, have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye!